once a prince in India who was very lonely. In his search for a wife, he had traveled around India, but although he had met rich, beautiful young women, anyone who would like to marry him, he was also returned to his palace alone. I don't understand it. They said, "You have been introduced the richest woman in India. Why you still not married?" Reply sadly, "I have not yet met a woman I could love her." Each morning, the prince sat by the window, overlooking the market square. Occasionally, the troupe of jugglers and acrobats brought a smile on his lips, but usually he was sat in gloomy silence. One day he heard a voice, clear and sweet. "Mangoes, fresh mangoes, who'll buy my lovely ripe mangoes?" The prince leaned out of the window and saw a girl carrying a basket on his head full of mangoes. She was very poor. He said, "How beautiful she is." The courtier brought a mango seller to the palace. "What's your name?" he asked. She did not look at him and gazing at the floor. "Rashida." "Please let me look at your eyes, Rashida. I'll be unhappy for the rest of my life if you don't agree to marry me." "But of course, I'll agree," Rashida answered. The prince immediately ordered preparation for a wedding party. Courtier said, "You'll marry to a common, poor mango seller?" The prince refused to listen to them. After a few days, he was a married man. At first, the couple were very happy. But after 3 years, Rashida began to change. When the prince told her how beautiful she was and how much he loved her, Rashida replied, I know, you tell me the same thing every day since we've married." And she never smiled. After a year, she was still beautiful. But she was also very proud, and she was cold and unfriendly to everyone, including her husband. The prince decided to celebrate the 3rd anniversary. At the end of the meal, he took a mango and represented it to Rashida. The prince said, "You have always forgot you were a happy mango seller in a marketplace. Perhaps it's time you sell them again and forget your proud new ways. If you no longer love me, I will not stay in your palace another moment," Rashida replied. "I should make sure you will not see me again." After that, the prince was so busy, he did not have time to think about Rashida. But it was no good. He could not forget the first time he fell in love. One day, while he was riding through the city, he heard a clear voice. "Mangoes, fresh mangoes, who'll buy my lovely ripe mangoes?" He recognized the sweet tones immediately. He walking through the crowd. He looked poor and hungry girl, but as beautiful as ever. Oh, Rashida, he called her. Will you come back to my palace? Rashida rubbed her eyes in shame. Can you ever forgive me for being so proud and cold? I have already forgave you, answered the prince. She took Prince's hand and never again lose her smile and become cold and proud. They lived happily together for the rest of life.